It is BBC Radio Newcastle. It's the sounds of the North East. I really appreciate your company. We're having a bit of Monday fun. Why just leave it for Friday? So I'm joined in the studio by two brilliant women who I interviewed independently, actually. Yvonne Vincent, who is an author, gave up the day job to become an author. Can people find out about your books, by the way, on the same place, on Facebook and not on all other
Yeah,
place?
or yvonnevincent.com.
Yeah, it's a lovely website. It's a very good website, yeah. And Marie, I called you Thompson instead of Tom earlier. And
Brain fog, love.
and you were very sweet. It didn't correct me, which is lovely. That's women supporting women.
Yeah.
So Marie started the blog Midlife Dramas in Pyjamas when she turned 50 and did not want to be invisible anymore. And why the heck not? So you've gone on to do all sorts of things in terms of doing stand-up poetry, doing loads of Facebook videos, all sorts of things, and really creating a community. Has that community been supportive then of everything that you're wanting to try and do? So other women on Facebook and blokes probably.
Absolutely. And I've published 2 books in the last 6
Yes,
months.
of course you have as well, haven't you?
Yeah, which are based on my page. And to be honest, if it wasn't for all the Facebook followers, I don't think I would have done it, because they would start, they were starting to say, you're a really good writer, you should publish a book. I write loads of poems. They've said you should put those into a book. That's my third one. My third book coming out is just my poems.
Is that out now?
No, it's not out now.
Has it got a name?
It has, but I'm not sure if I can say it.
Don't say it.
Can't say it.
No, don't. Bex, tell her not to say it. We'll get fired.
I don't think you're saying anything terrible, to be honest.
Yvonne, this is the BBC.
Well, let's just say it's the something verses, and the something starts with V.
Okay, got you. Yes, we probably can say that's fine.
Yeah,
it's just the lady part. We can say
It's the lady part,
It's fine.
but it's not the lady part verses. It's
yes, we've got it. So that's going to be coming out later. And now the podcast, Hear Me Roar. I've got my drum roll at the ready. So let's talk about the podcast and why you wanted to do it. So Yvonne, why did you want to start Hear Me Roar?
To be honest, I was interviewed in December 23, and the interviewer asked me, what's your hobby? And I was like, God, writing used to be my hobby, but now it's my job.
Yeah.
Because I've packed in my job to do my hobby full time. I thought I need a hobby. So I was out with Marie and another friend, and we were having a drink. And I said, I'm thinking about starting a podcast as a hobby. And then a few months later, I still never got off my bum and did it. A few months later, I was out shopping with Marie, and she said, this podcast idea. And then we started talking about it, and we realised how much more brilliant it would be if we did it together.
Yeah.
So it's kind of gone from a hobby to an actual thing now. And I can mix sound and edit stuff and do all sorts. That's been such a steep learning curve, but so rewarding.
And I think that's very interesting as well. And people listening to the show now might feel that they are held back by skills and held back by technical abilities and held back by not having confidence. Men or women or whoever you identify with, that those are things, human emotions that we can all feel. And you have not let that stop you, have you?
No, though, to be fair, if it was down to me to do the tech side of it, I don't think we'd have ever done it.
Well, I think you're a bit like me, but you're not the technical one.
I am not the technical one.
Marie's in charge of, admin and logos, and I'm in charge of tech and Haribos.
Yeah. And
how it works.
It's a match made in heaven.
Yeah.
And I do all the pretty looking things. And
she's made cakes today. Hear Me Roar written on.
Yeah, that was a really hard job to do. Whereas Yvonne edits everything, makes clips for everything, and she's just a powerhouse when it comes to tech.
What would you say to people listening about that in terms of empowerment? Because I think when you get to sort of your mid-40s, 50s, sometimes you can feel left behind. It's important to actually learn.
Yeah, I think it's really important to keep learning, mainly because if you don't open yourself up to different things, different opportunities, new skills, then you stagnate.
Yeah.
And I don't think we can afford to stagnate. I think we do have to open ourselves up to life.
100%. And you said this, which I think is very interesting, and I hope listening to the show you'll find this interesting. You said something to me, Marie, a while back about friends, that there's this narrative that once you get into your 50s, you can't be bothered. I don't want to make new friends. I can't be bothered. And actually, you feel very differently.
Absolutely. I'm always open to making friends. I mean, I got chatting to you in the health food shop. I
And Marie didn't know what I did. I didn't know what she did.
No. I go through life and I accept anybody who's coming into my life and who wants to be a friend. I think that people come into your life for a reason.
Yeah.
Yvonne certainly came into my life for a reason, because look at what we've now created. But I do have other friends who say, no, I'm done now. I've got enough friends and I don't want any more. And that's fine. That's their choice. But to me, that's alien, because I think you should be open to new friendships. I mean, we've met you and we've been out together and we have a right laugh. And I think you should accept people come into your life and accept and grab opportunities.
And in terms of saying yes, you said yes to the podcast, and not only did you say yes, you've done it, and you're launching it today, which is very exciting.
I know.
We've launched a live podcast before, but so this is exciting. So tell us about the premise of Hear Me Roar. What is the idea behind it?
It's inspirational stories from midlife and beyond, and we've got in the bag the first series. We've got 8 episodes. They all happen to be ladies, but that's not part of the premise. In our next season, we've got a bloke who we're having a chat with.
Great.
I don't want to say what about yet, because he will be hilarious. Can we say what it is?
Yeah,
Go on.
we can.
Go on then. Cause
He writes the Eurovision commentary for Iceland.
Hilarious. And that's coming up actually next week.
yeah.
It's he's absolutely lovely, and he's somebody that I've known like for decades. And way back when he was going to Eurovision, and him and his pal blagged a couple of backstage passes from Radio Slough on the basis that they would report back.
And then you see Radio Slough.
Yeah,
that.
And then it kind of snowballed from there, and he actually wrote the 2009 Iceland Eurovision entry as well. So,
Well, so you've got this is something for everybody. And also, I do think that if partners, whatever relationship you're in, when somebody is going through something in their life, and let's face it, if we're lucky enough to go through midlife, there are all sorts of things that you go through. Actually, you might find it interesting as a partner to listen to the podcast.
Absolutely. I mean, the ladies we've interviewed so far have all got inspirational stories, and they've all tended to do things once they've reached midlife, because midlife can be like a rebirth and a new beginning, and life does not have to end when you get to our age. Let it start. Bring it on.
Bring it on, absolutely. Well, let's do this, ladies. Let's bring it on and let's live launch. Are we ready? Let's live launch Hear Me Roar, the podcast. So here's the drum roll. Press the button, Marie. So, cheers! It will spend no expense, as you can hear, on sound effects.
a plastic
button from Amazon.
I love that.
It doesn't make any noise.
Doesn't make any noise, but you did it.
Well,
so
we did it.
If people want to find you, where can they find you, girls?
We're at hearmeroarhere.com, and we're also on Facebook and Insta as Facebook's Hear Me Roar. I think Insta's Hear Me Roar Here.
Fabulous. And finally, the one thing that you have learned maybe from the series that you've been doing, not the first episode, because I don't know how much you learned from the first episode.
Yeah, that first episode is a phenomenal way to launch our series, to be honest, Anna. You were absolutely brilliant.
Well, I probably said too much because I'm half a cocktail.
Oh,
anyway.
That is a box of frogs, but that means you just fit right in.
Half an hour of absolute chaos at the start.
Yes, half an hour of chaos, but hopefully some little life nuggets.
It was great.
Absolutely.
So say yes, be confident.
Yes, say yes to any opportunity that comes your way. I'm always banging on about that on my page. Grab life by the bits and just go for it, and don't say no. Just go for it and give it a chance.
Absolutely. Well, ladies, thank you so much for coming in. Much appreciated. Cheers. I'm going to stop my face for some cake now. Here's to your
Thanks for having us.
Pleasure.
Cheers.
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 I'm not drinking.